Now, when you said you went to like camp as a kid at Bohemian Grove or something like that.
I did sneak into Bohemian Grove. Right? That's a true story.
Right. But it was a camp or what was it?
You want the whole story of Bohemian Grove? It's really interesting.
Yeah, go.
Mark Twain, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah,
me too.
Great guy.
What's
his real name?
I used to know that.
How do you not? I know you know it, but let's see if he goes.
I know the real story of how he was in that real Deadwood town, and he was actually like a telegraph operator or something. He did a whole bunch of...
Samuel?
I forget.
Clemens.
That's right.
Wow. Langhorne Clemens.
Point Andrew.
But he wrote
I might be saying
news articles in the mining towns. I knew that.
Really?
Yeah. But yes, Samuel Clemens, you're right. But I
Samuel
forgot
Clemens.
that part.
So you are a big fan of Mark Twain.
Well, I've read a lot of his books, but I didn't remember his true name like you.
Well, still, you're a fan. You're a big enough fan because. So you would also say you were a fan of Black Lives Matter because he thought Black Lives Matter.
I actually do care about everybody's life. Yeah.
That is what I'm talking about.
That's a smooth operator.
This guy's a
you see how he got them both?
dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love everybody.
So Bohemian Grove, what happened?
Well, Mark Twain founded it.
That's right. He founded it.
So that's why I was getting to Mark Twain.
Okay. Was he trying to find some Huck Finns or what's going on?
He wanted to bang as many women as possible.
Okay, that's what's up.
And like we think we invented drugs, they had drugs then.
Oh, yeah.
So what was happening is he made his way across the West and then got famous later and then moved back to where they kind of have an artist colony. They had about 5,000 acres then. Now it's about 2,700 acres. Big, giant, beautiful redwoods are right on the Russian River there in Sonoma County, California. So it became an artist colony, and he would spend usually a lot of his summers till he got older there. He got really popular, and mainly there wasn't a lot of homoerotic stuff. It was heterosexual stuff, but they would ship hookers in from San Francisco.
And ship them in.
They'd ship them in by train, because finally the Northern Railroad or whatever got there.
Ugliest women on the planet.
Wait,
Who knows?
Ugliest
What
women
a terrible
on the planet,
place to
San
ship women in from.
Unbelievable. You can ship them from LA, you can ship them anywhere else, but the ugliest women on the planet, hands down, San Francisco.
Maybe that's why they started fucking kids, because they were like, the women are so ugly.
Listen, all I know is they shipped the hookers in from San Francisco.
Okay, fine.
So then it's this big party thing. You know, they did plays, they did risque stuff, they did illegal stuff, and it was basically a giant party camp.
Okay.
For dudes that made a bunch of money in gold mining and stuff. So it was basically just a place to get totally insane. And then by 1900, U.S. presidents started going, and then others started going. By the time I snuck into it in July of 2000, I was paid to sneak in by British Broadcasting Group, not BBC, but it was World of Wonder and Channel 4, because they didn't want the liability. They had the passcodes. They actually could help get me in through the Secret Service. That's how I was able to get in, but I had to sign a non-disclosure. Later, they lifted the non-disclosure. You know, John Ronson, he made like Mini-Skirt Goats and, you know, all those different movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So they had liability. So they had me sign an agreement to sneak in for them with a hidden camera and get footage. And I'm like, yeah, right. Because this is me like, 21 years ago. I wasn't into the whole Satanism thing or pedophile thing. I thought it was BS. I was more like a mainline libertarian, kind of like a mainline Republican pro-gun guy. But but I'd already snuck on some military bases and stuff and got some hidden footage. They said, will you go in? I said, absolutely. Pay my plane ticket, pay me money, do whatever, I'll do it. I sneak in. I get questioned by the Secret Service in these big redwoods. And I go, okay, that's it. I'm going to hide. There's footage of all this. I'm going to hide just under a deck till it gets dark. Because they claim by this little lake, there's this big stone owl. They're going to do this ritual. So it gets dark. I go down. And all of a sudden, I'm in these giant redwoods. And there's over 1,000 people on these big open tables eating dinner. And they're singing weird German songs. I don't speak German, but I know it's German. All of a sudden, I'm walking down.
How do you know it's German? If you don't speak.
A lot of words, so it's hard to catch.
It sounds like a Karina Burana song. Like, it sounds like those Seven Dwarves are singing. And so
I fact checked it. It does sound like the Seven Dwarfs. That is true.
I actually got video of this.
I know.
I'm above these trees, like, and it's like, okay. And then it's all mainly white people, except I then see Danny Glover.
No.
I swear to God.
Motherfucking Abe, I bet Mel Gibson got him into that bitch.
Yeah. No. And then I'm looking, I'm going, and later in the night, I'm walking by, but I've got the hidden footage already got. I'm skipping ahead. Yeah. I'm walking, I go, well, I'm not going to stop. I got the footage. Nobody, CBS, NBC, they all try to get in and get out with it. I got the info out because I guess some insiders wanted it out. I'll just be honest. I wasn't on the setup then.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, that's Clint Eastwood. It's like, oh, that's Clint Eastwood. I'm like, brushing past him. Like,
that.
I didn't stop and like fanboy on him because I would definitely fanboy on Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. He's a piece, dude.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking, I mean, he was a handsome guy.
Well, I'm not gay, but I'd have sex with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson too. And that's what I want is Mel Gibson and Clint Eastwood.
You get hairy and
I
dirty.
asked him about Clint Eastwood, and you just suggested Mel Gibson.
He said Mel Gibson. I'm gonna have sex with Mel
I
Gibson.
was like, Clint Eastwood's hot. You're like, I would have sex with Mel Gibson immediately.
Exactly.
No one brought up Mel Gibson. He was just thinking about it.
Anyway, so I'm in there. But here's the reason I raised this. Here's the reason I raised this.
You
They're
probably
telling me
followed
it's
Danny
this-
Glover to find Mel Gibson.
Actually, Danny Glover fucked me that night. No, I'm joking. So let's stop. Let's get serious.
Yeah, let's get serious.
Yo,
Come on, man.
Actually, I was
seriously.
raped by Clint Eastwood that night. No. That's a joke, YouTube.
you winning over the left media as we speak, bruh. You fucked dudes and got raped. You got the left
And I
back.
got my balls chopped off.
Yeah.
He's a radical leftist, this guy.
No, seriously, I'm a radical leftist. So
Oh my God.
Okay, keep
I'm a woman.
going.
No, but seriously.
Yeah.
So most of Bohemian Grove
Yeah.
is just a party place started by
Yeah.
Most of Bohemian Grove
Yeah.
is a party place started by Mel Gibson.
How dark is Danny Glover's dick?
Like this. I was like, Danny, it's so big. And he said, so you like that? So it's a lot bigger than this.
That's what he said to Danny.
I think it's the other way around, to be honest. I think.
So it's serious. History of Bohemian Grove. We're partway there. It started by Mark Twain and a group of people. And Mark Twain shows up as like 20 people.
Yeah.
By the time Mark Twain gets involved, by like 1890, it's thousands of people. It's an insane party.
Okay.
Prostitutes being brought in by train. It's like debauchery, orgies, everything.
Fire.
And then a little bit of Satan worship. You know, you want to be a little blasphemous.
That's all right.
So everything else is going on. Oh yeah, the thing that documents and books come out about it, like there's weird photos from like, you know, in black and white of like, you name it, it's going on.
Yeah.
We think we invented stuff today? No, sorry, Hollywood, you didn't invent shit. But by the time I get there in 2000, it's weird Republicans that are really repressed. So now it's not women, it's very homoerotic. That's why I made the joke. I didn't see Clint Eastwood do anything. I didn't see Danny Glover do anything. I didn't see Mel Gibson there. But it was very homoerotic because, believe it or not, I weigh 270 pounds now. I weigh like 180. I look really good back then. So the
Peace.
problem
I
was
see
the reason
it.
I had to hide was the dudes kept slapping me on the ass and whistling at me.
No way.
So, no, I swear to God.
They wanted cheeks.
Yeah. So the Secret Service comes up and then later the Sheriff's Department, what's your passcode? What are you doing? I go, I'm with the Lost Boys because I had the code word to this particular camp. They go, oh, you're from Texas with the Bushes. All right, that's okay. And also, they go, well, what's the other code word? I go, hillbillies, because I was told by insiders how to get in. And I'm not sure why they still did it, why I was given it. People said, hey, Jones was let in. Later, I figured out I was.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I was let in. John Ronson's like, don't ever tell anybody
You were
I
a
did
piece,
this.
Doug.
Huh?
Because you were a piece. Because you were
Yeah.
fine as fuck.
They wanted
Well,
Maybe-
about 7 years later, John Ronson goes on C-SPAN and like CNN and like coast to coast AM and goes, I actually snuck in with Alex Jones. He never told anybody. I signed a non-disclosure. I wasn't supposed to say it. So I sneak in with this British broadcasting guy. And they
wanted
had
some
all the
credit.
He's the one that actually had all the codes and everything.
Yeah.
It would turn out that there was a lawyer in the Bohemian Grove, and I guess the higher level groups, it's all hierarchical. There's this thing called the chalet at the top where Kissinger and Nixon and Reagan and the Bushes stay. And they're like, the chalet has decided you're going to get in. I later learned. And so this was like, they like, go get Jones, have him sneak in, give him all the credit. So it's weird. Like these dudes actually picked me, brought me in to launch. I was already big on the internet. I already was successful on over 100 radio stations by 2000, but I was like underground. And these dudes like decided to let me sneak in, do the whole 9 yards. And like once the Secret Service would talk to me, they'd get on their radio and go, okay, you can go. They caught me. They
knew.
They were told. So here's the mystery. Why did they let me in?
They were grooming you. They wanted you to be
Yeah.
part of their thing.
Yep.
Maybe,
Oh, what is it?
Hit it.
maybe you are a part of their thing.
Oh.
What is the term? Disinformation specialist. Yes. Maybe they brought you in, but
maybe I don't know that.
Flipped you.
But maybe I don't know.
Maybe you don't.
You've been brainwashed.
Oh.
Maybe you got MK Ultra.
Oh,
I think I probably did.
Yeah.
But no, but
You definitely got
being
that
serious,
Danny
I was
Glover on.
They're trying to see his Area 51.
Glover,
bro.
man.
That's what it was.
The point is that I'm being honest about this. I only learned later that it was all basically I was let in.
Do you? No, this is a serious
I had
question.
to stop and talk to the guy that's in the Western movies, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
I'd have taught me like it's Clint Eastwood. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Clint Eastwood. I gotta get out of here with the footage.
Yeah.
Because imagine, I didn't believe it. All of a sudden, I
Do you worry that they're trying to play you sometimes? Do you worry that like you come across information and they're using you and your platform?
well, that's what I'm being honest about. They've done that to me.
They have, right? So how do you decipher?
These dudes are sophisticated.
Yo, the people who run the world, they kind of got it. They're pretty good. Yeah. They're pretty smart, the guys who run the world. So they're sending you information. Give us an example of something they sent you.
Well, it's happened a lot, but I mean, I'm just finishing with Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
So I come down out of the hills. I've hit under this deal with mosquitoes biting me and everything. The British guy goes, I'm not doing this. He runs off. So we split up at that point.
Of course.
But I've got the hidden camera, and I'm under this thing being bit by mosquitoes, and I'm sitting there, and so it gets dark. I go out of the hills. I'm over the redwoods, and they're all like orcs down there eating, and then they all go towards this pool. So I follow them. I hadn't been to the pool yet. I hadn't seen it. So there's this big pond with this big 40-foot stone idol of an owl, and they bring in the effigy of a child. They say we're sacrificing it to get rid of our bad karma. And I'm thinking, this is a joke. So I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And the guy goes, shut up. It's a very important ritual. And these old men are going, for like an hour. And I'm like, this is kind of boring. But it was very Faustian. It was a ritual. They took it very serious. That's why once I had the hidden camera footage, you guys are welcome to use it all, whatever you want on the show. I just got out of there as quickly as possible. So that's the rest of the story. Is it started with Mark Twain just wanting to like drink a lot of liquor and bang hookers, and turned into, because it's repressed Republicans, very homoerotic, well known that like the private jets land at the private airfield and ain't women. It's like almost all men, and it's just a bunch of dudes banging each other. Nothing against that. I'm not against gay people, but just that's not my cup of tea.
Wow.
And why do you think this happens with the Republicans? You think it's sexual repression?
I do. I think it's sexual repression. That's the naughty thing to do. Because imagine, they're in this beautiful place that's Mark Twain banging hot hookers all day and drinking liquor and doing whatever. And pretty soon it's like, let's do the bad thing. Let's screw a dude. And then it pretty much becomes that later. I mean, in town, there were a bunch of hookers in town too, because there's a couple little towns right by it. And it's crawling with like 5-star hookers.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, look at that woman. Look at that woman. They're like, the jets are landing. But that's all done in town at the golf course.
Right.
But it's all male. It's only male inside.
So this is one of the things that...
Which was changed like in the 30s.
It changed in the 30s, meaning what? The now women
Well, before it was like they were bringing women in.
Now it's all of a sudden just like,
it's
kind of
all
like
men
a weird homoerotic thing. Okay, so what happens with you? You expose this, and then it kind of puts you on a map in a different way. Like you were already famous at this point in time, but now it's like you're famous for exposing things that people didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Yes, and more or less? Is that fair?
Absolutely. And I would take credit for doing this all myself. I'm being honest, because this is all people's own shared experience. I literally got set up probably by Bohemian Grove to go do this. So the question is, why did they?
That's my question. Why? Why do you think?
Well, they death threatened me and messed with me really hard after it too. There's like different factions. I think somebody inside the cult was pissed. And who knows? I don't know. But we had like, here's an example. I have the footage. We get back, these British film crews cannot believe I have the tape. They watch it on cameras. They transfer it to a deck.
Yep.
And then they call me up like a week later going, that footage was erased. I go, your people did it. They checked it in front of me. So they grabbed it in the mail and deleted it. And then I mailed it to like their offices in LA, and it got deleted again. They erased it.
Yeah.
They have a machine that does it.
Yeah.
Like a demagnetizer. Back then it was magnetized tape. Then they flew a crew to Austin, and in front of me at a studio, copied it again and left and finally got it. So it was, let me tell you, it was very James Bondy that they did not want that footage out, but we were given all the codes, because like the Secret Service, like, what is the code word? Lost Boys. What's the second code word? Hillbillies. All right, let him go. It was literally like that.
Okay, is this your first experience with, I don't know how exactly to put it, like society beyond society? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, well, all these rich people have, these were mainly billionaires. Like I was like hiding under this deck, and guys walking by going, Reagan did well with us transferring the reactors to the base, and they don't know about the submarine fleet we have. And I mean, then they walk by, like another group walks by, and it's like, oh, we're controlling the arts now. We're going to launch that. You hear like a,
I guess
it was like weird, like.
That's my curiosity. Like, so what happens once you get a little taste of this? You're like, I need to expose this other world out there. Like, what does it happen with you? Where you go, I need to find out about this pedophile ring. Like, a lot of people give you credit for, I don't know if it's exposing Epstein, but you were talking about it maybe decades ago, right? Decade ago, 10 years?
It was in the news 15 years ago. I covered it then, yeah.
But
again,
so
I'm not giving credit.
Again, I'm not giving you all the
credit. It was in the Miami news 15 years ago.
Right, with the legal case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it was in the, yeah. Again, I would take credit for that. Yeah, here's the deal. Only a part of it's the pedophile thing, but here's the deal. It gets to a point where like rich guys, their wives go, oh, my husband cheated on me. I'm cheating on him. I don't care. So like 50 years ago it was, hey, we know you're cheating on your wife. You could blackmail somebody.
And now cheating on the wife doesn't matter as much?
It doesn't
They
matter.
have to go a little
because
bit
your
further.
wife's like, yeah. And so it becomes a deal where most of these people that's come out in court, like these rich bankers and stuff, are like, I don't want to screw a 10-year-old girl. But they tell you, hey, we're videotaping it. Go in the room and screw her if you want to be in the club. It's a rite of passage. Like you know how gangs will say, go rob a liquor store and kill somebody. And you're like, well, that sounds mean. Well, then you ain't the gang. They want dirt on you.
So that they can control you in case you get powerful.
Exactly. So it's an initiation.
So let's say you go and become president one day. They know that they got some shit on you, so you can do their dirty work.
Exactly.
Strategically, it's smart. It's fucked up.
But that's exactly what's going on. And so that pedophilia is one of their main deals because that is so unacceptable and it should be. It's bad. But that's the main thing. Because, I mean, dude, most of these guys, I've talked to people that were involved, came out FBI reports, like a lot of these guys are like crying. And they're like have sex with an 8-year-old girl or boy. They're like,
what?
And they'll show them, they go, listen, you laundered $500 million for us. We're going to kill you if you don't do it. And they make their wives go. And these people are crying in a bedroom and they've got to like have sex with a kid.
Who's they?
It's beyond the CIA. It's this corporate mafia. Like people think of the Italians. Like the Italians got big for their britches with unions and stuff in the 50s. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover, because he was photographed dressed as a woman and all that, he would testify to Congress, there is no La Cosa Nostra. So now we think as a Hollywood, only Italians run gangs. Every group runs gangs.
Yeah.
And the globalist gang is so big and so corporate, they're called scientists. It's scientists. And so they study how humans operate. They study psychology. They're medical doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists. That's the real group at the top that runs the whole show.
So Indians run the world.
Who is a
That's what you're
globalist?
saying. Doctors, scientists. That's us. We're doing it.
Well, definitely Indians have figured it out. They're definitely, let's just say China's really pissed.
Take the vaccine, guys. You know what I mean? I'm out here saying it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey,
You know, there's a major, India banned the Pfizer mRNA vaccine.
because we made our own, bro. That's what we do.
No, but it wasn't, it wasn't the
We got
special
our money,
one.
bro.
Yeah, I know.
That's what
that's
we
what
do.
I know.
Let me tell you something. You look at my genes, tell me they couldn't be changed. I would love to change them.